Welcome back, everybody. It is yet another edition of A New Guitar Day. Today is April the 17th, 2024. And once again you can see, and I'm going to keep my rant short, that Amazon, in their infinite stupidity, has sent me another guitar in a way oversized box. And unlike the last two, I can already tell just by the noise this makes that there is absolutely no packing material. So the much smaller box sits inside the giant box and flops around, which again is a complete failure. Let's just look inside, shall we? No packing material. And I just consider that to be a complete and utter failure on Amazon's part to do due diligence to packing their guitars properly. And if I was GearIT or any of the other companies, I would be pissed, because it says that they're getting a pretty high rate of return on these guitars, and gee, who's surprised? Okay, so with the rant out of the way, as you can see, once again, this is the GearIT GTL-200. This will be number 4 that I've purchased, and while you're scratching your head and wondering, well, why is he purchasing 4? Well, 2 of them have been sent back. One had a critical issue with the wiring, which just made it unplayable. Well, actually, I should correct that. It was playable. This looks like it looks like it's a single tape job. You could play it, but it didn't sound good. And the second one went back because it had a terminal truss rod problem. I could not get the back bow out of the neck, so it was an absolute deal killer. But then they went on sale again, and for the price, the mere price, this feels like a heavy one, for the mere price of $64 plus I had a $10 coupon, so for the price of $54 shipped to my front door, how could I not do it? How, I ask you. I'm going to put you on hold for a minute. I'm going to weigh this. My guess is this is going to be another 9-pounder, but let's wait and see, shall we? Well, not quite 9 pounds. It comes in at a robust 8.4, which is borderline. It's pretty heavy. I mean, again, if this was a completely solid body Telecaster, ash body, that would be within reason. The problem I have is that this is a thin line, and it even says in their ad copy that the thin line provides a thinner, lighter, more comfortable experience. And anyway, that's not my experience. I'm not feeling it, but okay, so it actually looks really pretty. Back, nothing to see, just the typical. Don't see any damage off the top. A little bit of schmutz. The grain lines on this one are actually quite pretty. You can definitely tell there's 2 different pieces of wood, but they're very nicely put. So I'm just going to go tune it up and plug it in, see what we got. We definitely have some bridge issues as far as things being where they're supposed to be. But yeah, playability is the key. So we're going to go plug this in, and we will be... Welcome back, everybody. It's now about 45 minutes later. And as I mentioned in one of my earlier videos, I'm going to do a preliminary review right now, which will be quite brief. And then I'm going to play this guitar for at least a few days, if not a week, before I come back and give the final. But I just want to mention that overall they do a really good job on these guitars. There are a few minor adjustments, but the neck relief seems to be good. The action seems to be fine. The saddles on the bridge were sort of wacky. They needed a little bit of touch up, a little bit of leveling off, but that seems to be fine. As you can see, it's a really pretty guitar. Just preliminary impressions. I don't see any major flaws of any kind. Everything looks fine. It feels good. Of course, one of the qualities of the GearIT guitar is the neck out of the box. The fret ends are just spectacular, smooth as butter, as they say. There doesn't seem to be any buzz. The E string is a little sort of flat sounding. I'm not sure what that's all about. The nut seems to be cut well. The cowboy chords are all in tune. So overall, pleased. Sure wish it weighed about 6.5 pounds, but again, according to them, this is the highest quality tonewood ash. And I guess ash, swamp ash, is a heavy, so even taking this big chunk out here, the chunk only goes to right here. This is all solid. This feels hollow all the way back here. I would have to stick something in there to see it. I don't have anything at the moment. But yeah, overall, really good. And then you take into account that they were blowing these out for a day at $65. And again, a $10 coupon takes it down to $55. And you know, you get their little goodie bag. You get a gig bag, which bare minimum is worth $10, if not $15 or $20. A low budget tuner, but $5 for that. A cord that's better than any of the other cords that they're passing out with these guitar kits. And then you toss in shipping, and it's almost like they gave you the guitar for free. So nothing to complain about. So yeah, I will be back in the coming days with, see if I can solve the issue with the sort of dead sounding E string, see if I can get it to be a little more resonant, and we'll be back. So again, boom bada boom. This is my 4th of this model, and as far as fit and finish on these guitars, very consistent. Like I said, 2 of them had issues that I wasn't able or willing to solve, but consistent wise, and again, totally superficial, but I really like the grain on this guitar much better than 2 of them that I had. The one that I kept, I also like the grain. I just like the vertical nature, not swirly and crazy. Superficial, personal taste, everyone has their own thing, but I mean, it is a really nice sunburst. Again, the camera's not picking up the red. It's a 3-tone. It goes from black to red. This just sort of shows a 2-tone. The red sort of gets washed out. And you get a 3-ply pickguard. It's got the, you know, the coil splitting on the humbucker. The P90 sounds fine to me. Other people think it sounds weak. The output jack on this one is much more robust and substantial than the other 3. This one feels nice and firm. Tuners feel good on this. So yeah, it's actually quite a deal, and I do think that GearIT is going out of the guitar business. I think they sort of jumped in with both feet, put an order into a Chinese factory, had mixed results as far as returns and complaints, and so I think they're bailing. Amazon only has the Telecasters now. They sold out on the Strats. And I'm not really sure what's on the GearIT website. I'm going to look it up right now and just see if they have other guitars available. But anyways, so yes, this is the GearIT GTL. I think this is the Shoreline series. Yes, it is. The GTL-200 Shoreline series. Thin line Telecaster shaped object. So we'll be back. Welcome back, everybody, and good morning. It is Monday morning. It's April the 22nd, 2024. And as you can see, there's a big box here, but it's not a box incoming, it's a box outgoing. And I just thought I'd put a period at the end of the sentence. This is for the GearIT GTL-200, the thin line that I got last Wednesday. I played it last week and over the weekend, and finally came to the conclusion that it had multiple issues, all which could be fixed, not with my skill level, so I would have to pay someone to do it, and then suddenly the the great deal on this guitar wouldn't be so great. And I do already have one. It has some issues as well, but GearIT was kind enough to give me a price reduction, a partial refund on it, so if I do need to pay someone to do it, it's well within the budget of the guitar. And just real quickly, the biggest issue on this guitar, and actually frankly all four of them that I've had this issue to some degree or another, but it's back bow on the neck. And I do believe the guitar has a dual action truss rod. So if you loosen it to the middle, the neutral, you still have back bow on the neck. If you crank it counterclockwise to put opposite pressure on it, you can lift some of that out of there, although I don't think you should have to, because if this guitar just had a single action truss rod in it, you would loosen it and there would still be back bow. So that was an issue. The tuners on the guitar, none of them are great tuners, but for the price they're reasonable. But these creaked like just awful. You would tune it up and it sounded like it was binding in the shaft or the hole of where the tuner goes through the headstock. And the guitar was making some really strange clicking sounds too. And when you tuned it, it also, it had some weird creaks in the neck. So anyways, not a big deal. Under different circumstances, I might have kept the guitar. I try not to abuse Amazon's return policy. I don't return things just because I don't like them. There's got to be an issue that is obvious. So, and then my final comment is, again, as you can see, the giant box, which is just pitiful. And you can hear the guitar bouncing around in there because they don't put any packing material. And that's just really too bad. I don't know what Amazon's problem is. I think I've mentioned it before. I've gone online and lots of people are having this issue, and lots of people mention it, and lots of people think it's ridiculous. And it's just really counterintuitive, and I would think that the people that sell the guitars would be the first line of defense, saying to Amazon, don't do this, because this increases the chance of damage to our product. But I don't know, sometimes the company gets so big it just gets deaf, it doesn't hear anybody. So anyways, we say goodbye to this guitar. They offered me to replace it with another one, and I thought, nah, 4's enough. 3 have gone back, 1 stayed. I think at this point it would be foolish of me to continue to just have more guitars sent here with the potential that they would go back. Like I said, I don't want to abuse Amazon's incredibly generous return policy. And it is incredibly generous because everybody else would be less generous. Anyways, final time, April 22nd, 2024. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful early spring morning. The birds are out, the trees are starting to blossom and bud, and it's nice. We still might get some more snow, it's possible. But as each day goes by, it's less likely. So there you go. So we'll see you next time, if and when there's another new guitar day. Thank you very much.